what is going on YouTube? This is Acid Roots Wires. This is part 11 to Guitar Hero 2 as far as these pitch can have. So it's been, this channel is coming out of summer hibernation more or less within some of these type aspects. I got a series of videos that are going to be on the way as far as these pitch can happen. This is actually an episode that I recorded back in September. So there's numerous things going to talk about within these pitches. Some of these type ones is to get all these topics here, particularly within the aspect behind it, just after a series of mishaps. Like there were originally more, when I say summer hibernation, there were originally a lot more videos planned, or at least a good assortment of videos planned between like March and more spring type fair pitches like that. It was kind of the ordeal between like the former computer that had like some gameplay to where I didn't have to use a cell phone. That computer broke and just not wanting to splurge the cash to get that computer fixed. And then like the memory card, when I was going to get back to Rise to Honor, that particularly deleted that save information. I don't know if I trust that particular memory card. I mean, it's working for this particular game, but it's just kind of fair that it was just kind of a crap mishap that kind of happened with it. And then both of my DualShock 2 controllers or remotes basically had some issues that just were unexplained for whatever reason, just because I moved the PlayStation of the room. So it's just the mishaps behind it didn't make sense, and it really just feels like this is just completely nonsensical as to why it happened, because I just did not drop the PlayStation or anything like that. So it's just kind of random within the ordeal. I know it kind of feels like I know it kind of feels anecdotal within the product as far as me saying, because you know, to be able to actually vouch for the fact, to see it with your own eyes as far as saying the proof of it not happening. But it's just kind of the pitch that I mean, there's no rattling in the PlayStation 2 or things like that, and this is the fair as far as just the product. There should be no reason why moving a PlayStation to the other room should cause gripe, but it's this kind of aspect it did. So I had to replay Rise to Honor, which I wasn't too excited about, but at least it happened when I was only at like stage 3 or 4 or 5 with it, as opposed to like stage 13 or some on, something like that. But I don't know if I said this in one of the Devil May Cry type episodes, but basically what I'm going to wind up doing for that is just I'm going to kind of revisit that game, and I'll probably record like some quick segments just skipping through it. Pitches like that might just be like a retread. It's going to be interesting, because I don't know how many folks kind of do that within like the commonplace walkthrough type fair. If they get their save file deleted just playing through like the game a second time, it's going to be some pitches like that. But then also on top of that, there were some further mishaps just within the last month. And by last month, I mean September of 2025, where originally it was like the last day of August or like first 1 or 2 days of September, I bought a controller off of Amazon, and then they screwed up the order. They refunded me the money, but I basically had to buy. I know what they were trying to do is just try to screw up the order with the money I paid for it. And when I buy an Amazon gift card, then I have to go out and buy another one, because the exact if I pay $35 for an Amazon gift card and then it winds up being 37 because they screwed up the order, well, now I have to buy another one just to then pitch as far as saying just because they pulled that bullshit as far as those pitches going to happen. So it's just kind of ordeal. You know, it was kind of sneaky. Didn't like the ton that didn't wind up happening, but it definitely could have, just by saying that particular seller just screwed up the order as far as those fairs going to happen, just to get an extra $2 or something like that. But it's just kind of the pitch as far as saying, just because I don't use a credit card, I don't have a credit card, but just as far as saying within those aspects, it's kind of cheap with that. I mean, I just felt like that, you know, Amazon was full of crap to kind of be able to do that, but it's just kind of the pitch. Definitely some of those type moments I would definitely encourage, like even if I don't have a lawyer, I would definitely encourage people to sue Amazon, or at least try to sue Amazon for pulling those kinds of stunts, because it is pretty cheap. But just be able to say, so I had to deal with that mishap, and it just cost me a few days that you folks probably could have gotten like an extra controller or an extra video, or maybe even 2, something like that back in September. Because I want to say I didn't actually do like the Devil May Cry. I actually did record this episode that you're seeing right now in September. It was just kind of the mishap as far as saying it didn't come out till later on, because it was after I got the new cream colored controller pitches like that. It was just kind of the ordeal. It is a nice one. Do like appreciate the fair, but this would have to kind of say within those ordeals. This is kind of the surfings of the goings on that's been happening circa 2025. So Acid Roots Wires kind of had more of a story this year that's just kind of been more behind the scenes. It's been more within the commonplace of like the behind the scenes type interest, the more, not so much IRL type stuff, but just kind of the more capo type stuff that's just kind of behind the curtain stuff that, you know, folks will talk about, like when they talk about like if a person has to take 3 hours to get the recording software set up, and some of those type fairs go out and purchase the machine and talk and barter with the people, all that type stuff. I mean, yeah, it's just behind the scenes type stuff that's just had a lot of composition behind getting these episodes regulated to you. That's kind of the pitch that it's just not within the fair as far as bringing along the cell phone and recording, talking about, well, this is what Amazon, the stunts that they pulled, some of those type of aspects was kind of the fair. But even this particular episode was kind of a bastard and a half. I don't know if I failed in this particular episode, but there was like some degree of fair about it that kind of went along with it, that it was kind of giving me problems, because I think I did. I don't know if I recorded a previous gameplay segment, but that was kind of a tough song there, and it was just kind of the pitch as far as saying I just wasn't expecting the difficulty to ramp up. And this new controller is good with an aspect, but I feel like the original controller I had just had a little bit more snappiness. Not to say like it's a bad controller, but it's just, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just newer within the pitch, but I just feel like the response of it is not quite as signature point on, which causes me to miss a lot more notes. And plus, this particular area right here, this is not a good gameplay type segment the way you have to do these type ones. I mean, having to hit these rapid type notes, I just feel like it's a new trick that they're trying here that I just was not familiar with within those aspects. I mean, I definitely would not have been able to do this with the old controller that was broken as far as this pitch can go. It's this kind of aspect, the old remote pitches like that. But I look after it here, it's kind of the fair that it's not so much the response time is bad. I just think it's the newer type controller where just the snap behind it is just not as broken in as much to the point where it just has like the window. I don't know. It's kind of, you have to really have like the game lingo to be able to say, but just the response time of like how quickly it identifies is not quite as apt within the pitch, which is kind of the fair. It's just it's simple enough to be able to say it's just not broken in pitch like that. But I just look after it. So it's just kind of the fair, but I look after it. I would like to hope that particular aspect amongst it just doesn't cause a lot of gripe with more games that are going to kind of have some of these type of issues. Because I look after it, I still am kind of within the facet just between like the IRL stuff that's been going on and just all this behind the scenes stuff. It's not IRL in terms of like, you know, serious blah 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 things like that, but just kind of the pitch of just bills paid that require money as far as those pitches going to happen that just cannot be, you know, devoted to YouTube and video games as far as those pitches going to happen. So it's just kind of pitch as far as saying to some of that type fair, just having to pay extra money, pitches like that. But it's just kind of an aspect as far as saying that's kind of delayed this new game that I've been talking about that's going to happen. I mean, at some stage it is going to happen, but it's just kind of the fair as far as just having a few bucks just to be able to do it within some type of aspects. It's within the commonplace of having to spend this money on, you know, food and cat utilities and things like that, pet utilities, some of these types of fairs pitches like that, some of these type of products, you know, extra utilities for the house and some of those type of things. It's the standard fare about it, but this is kind of the fare. Yeah, this is a real annoying type segment, just to be able to say pitches like that. It's not like an easy kind of facet to be able to get towards as far as these pitches kind of happen. And just, I think they want you to use the guitar by this particular stage. I think Guitar Hero 1 actually includes it, but it's just kind of, I just did not like this particular song. It's not like I don't like this song, but just the gameplay of the song as far as this is going to go. But yeah, just pitches like that. So obviously you should be checking out the Asper's music channel in combination with this kind of being like a sideline type piece, some of these type of ordeals, because there's just been vicious one right after the other with some of these type pitches, these rock ones. A recent one that surfaced around this particular time as I'm doing this video is Coheed and Cambria, which I'm surprised has not had a song in this game as far as these fairs go. Maybe they do one of these type ones, but just pitches like that, some of these type fairs within it here, pitches like that. I'm actually surprised that Hollywood Undead has not been in the guitar. Maybe they have. I'm not as full bunch. It'd be nice to have a Deuce song in here. He definitely fit this game pretty well. Good pitches like that. But just some of those type of ordeals. Good type aspects. Yeah, this snappy type one. So yeah, I recorded this in September. Pitches like that. It's kind of an update of sorts. Pitches like that. We'll get some more of these cranked out. Definitely get back to Devil May Cry. I might even burn through a little bit of Rise Dawn or some of those type pitches. Just depends upon it. But yeah, I just got to get these assortments figured out. Some of these type maps.